Joining us now is Paul Rieckhoff, founder and executive director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, a veteran of the Iraq War himself. Paul, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you. My pleasure.
Obviously, this law was supposed to keep people on active duty from having their houses seized illegally in the first place. But is this after-the-fact enforcement now at least a step in the right direction?
It is, but this is crazy. This is absolutely outrageous. The idea that you're serving in Fallujah while your house is being foreclosed back home is just outrageous. I mean, it's disgusting. And it could be as many as 5,000 people. And what's important to note is you also can't take their house when they get home. The original provision was for 90 days, and we fought hard at IAVA in 2008 to make that now 9 months. Okay. So you've got another 9 months after you come home where you're supposed to be protected as well. So if these banks, did this, they broke the law. And they really put these folks in a bad position, potentially thousands.
We know from the rest of the mortgage crisis that a lot of the way that foreclosures happen with robo-signing and all the rest of it is just flagrantly irresponsible by the lenders. And essentially, this law was designed to give veterans a little extra protection.
Right.
Do you feel like taking an intensely punitive attitude toward this would be something that would make them take everybody more seriously?
They should.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're doing this to veterans, what are they doing to other folks?
Yeah.
Right? That's the big question here. And that should be the question around unemployment, around mental health. I mean, we're in many ways kind of like a canary in a coal mine for our society. Yeah. And if we're the folks that are America's heroes and we're getting treated like this, I think it should force all Americans to ask hard questions.
Yeah.
And I think this foreclosure issue, it runs deeper than that too, because folks are coming home and then they also have to move pretty frequently. We have a veteran named Sergeant Steve Inman in our organization who came home from Afghanistan. His baby was born while he was there. Got home and found out he had 2 months to move to Japan. He has to sell his house, sell his car. His wife's also pregnant and move to Japan, right? So that guy needs protection.
Yeah.
People like that need protection, and there are thousands of them that are serving in harm's way right now and shouldn't have to worry about if the bank is bolting their house while they're gone.
Paul, IAVA has had a lot of success legislatively since you were founded, but in particular this year, when nobody else has been able to get anything done in Washington, the only jobs bill that has passed this Congress was the Veterans Jobs Bill. The president today was in Scranton, and he was talking about overall legislative strategy. And he said that he thought he was finally getting to Republicans. And his example for that was your bill, was the Veterans Jobs Bill. What's your reaction to that?
I think he's right. I mean, it was the rare example of everybody in Washington getting along on something other than naming a post office, right? We had Republican chair of the Veterans Committee, Jeff Miller, on stage with Patty Murray, the Senate leader from the Democrats, on stage together. They issued a joint press release about this bill. And we've been fighting for this bill really going back 2 years. It provides urgent tax cuts. It's going to improve the transitional programs coming home. It's going to expand the GI Bill for veterans. It's a really critical bill. And it eventually went through unanimously, but it took a long time, and it was a hard fight. And it will be, like right now, it's the only jobs bill that went through. It's the only portion of the president's job package that's gone through, and it might be one of the only things they get done all year. So I think it is significant. Maybe it provides us some headway, but it also shows the power of veterans. Like, we're uniting, we're mobilizing, we've got the American people behind us, and if folks are looking in the coming years for places to cut, stay away from the VA. Yeah. Stay away from our stuff, because we are going to fight hard, and we're pretty good at fighting.
That case that Joe Biden was just making about all the reasons to hire veterans, also the reasons to watch how veterans get stuff done in Washington, because you guys are good at it.
Well, we're trying. And I think it's a sign for what's to come out of this community, not just in Washington, but in business and in community activism. There are a lot of incredible, dynamic leaders that are coming out of this community.
I agree. I agree. You're one of them, Paul Rieckhoff.
Thank you.
Founder and executive director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. I have to say, you're looking excellent, too. Very trim these days, Paul.
Thank you. It was a lot of effort to get through all the security downstairs.
I understand. Yeah. Paul actually lit the tree himself. He just went like this. We'll be right back.